faces. Let me bask neath the bright neon light. Let me see those sun-rayed faces in the wide open places that are open all night. Yes, yes. You can
there we go. God damn.
What are you trying to do?
Fix my mouse, dude. My shit is falling apart.
What the fuck? I thought you bought a new fucking mouse.
No.
What?
I only bought... I have awesome peripherals. I only needed the tower.
Oh.
I took my awesome peripherals with me.
That's not true because your mouse is falling apart.
It's not falling apart. It was just I have special weights that go
Okay.
bottom of the mouse, and they were falling out. So
Sounds like horseshit.
Fix that shit.
It sounds like horseshit.
Perfectly weighted.
Okay. A perfectly weighted mouse?
Yes.
You're such a
for
fucking...
gaming.
You're such a fucking knob. You're such a
so responsive to my inputs. Dude.
Oh my god!
Do you have a heavy mouse? Is that what's up?
I have weights in my mouse.
He's an adaptive mouse.
What? I can adjust the weights of.
Style.
Yes.
You are such a fucking chunder.
Yes, dude.
Oh my god! I should beat your ass. It's just for
badass.
What? Beat the shit out of
the
you.
This shit is badass.
How do I?
Thing you've ever said.
How do I put weights in my mouse? How do I get that?
You gotta buy a special gaming mouse.
Damn it!
It's got a weight tray. It's got a weight.
It's got a weight
tray.
Yes, and you fill it with different grams of weight.
We should be recording this. This is so
I've been recording this whole time. This is how we're starting out. This is the greatest thing ever. So.
Oh my god.
Dude, I love my mouse. What are you talking about?
Hello, we are the Brothers Geek, and this is our podcast. This is episode, what are we on, 46?
46.
We're on 46.
Yes, I have a weight tray in my mouse.
We're the Schmaltz brothers. We're geeks. We're brothers. It's kind of in the name.
Have you ever touched a boob?
Why, yes. Yes, I have.
I hope so.
He definitely is touched. He's definitely touched two. So
I have 3 children. Yes, I've touched.
Okay.
Maybe he went this whole time without touching her boobs.
Maybe.
This whole time.
Oh my god.
He made 3 kids. Didn't touch boobs.
I am not gonna say a word about anything.
Okay.
Respect.
Yeah, we should
Respect.
we should not be thinking about
my wife's
boobs.
chest.
I don't know. You get a lot of pleasure from touching your weighted mouse, so I hope that you've touched boobs before.
See, I think that's cool. I want a weighted mouse now.
How do you even find something like that?
Dude, are you kidding?
Dude, you kidding?
Are you kidding?
You just exposed your ignorance, dude.
Do you just live in like a bubble?
Dumbass.
Where do you find PC gaming?
How do you
seriously? How are you? You need to be fired from this podcast.
Seriously, I'm the most important part of this podcast.
Oh my god.
He's the everyman of the podcast, Christopher. That's what he is.
Very true.
Everyman.
You're the everyman. You're the one that everybody can relate to because you're the most normal.
I'm the most charming out of all of us.
I'm the one who's most relatable. That's exactly right.
Yeah. We're starting off like that, but this is going to be a Jessica Jones episode. We're going to try to do some of these special episodes while more often. I just talk about one subject, one thing, versus the scene read play that we always do.
We're really going to geek out about it.
We are going to really geek about it.
It's worthy of a one shot for sure.
It really is.
And it's easy because it's all available right now. It's not like over the course of months, like watching a series. Yep. There's 13 episodes. They're all on Netflix. You can just bust it out real quick, watch them, and then we can
give them the spoiler.
Oh yeah.
So if you don't want spoilers, don't come back after you've watched all 13 episodes.
Stop right now.
Yep.
Exactly.
Listen,
we're going to talk about everything.
Pause this.
Don't binge watch the shit out of it.
Yes.
Finish and come back.
So that's question number 1. Question number 1 is should they binge watch? Yeah. Should they binge watch the show? Is it good enough?
Absolutely, they should binge watch this show.
But you will be traumatized.
Oh yeah.
I have to say that It is.
Let's nail this down. How quickly did you watch the series, Christopher? You watched it in 2 days.
Yes.
2 days. Damn.
2 days.
What about you, Patrick?
I think I did it over the course of a week because it was also finals week, so I watched like two at a time, like two every night, and then I went to bed or like had to go off and do
take
studying.
that back. I watched it in 3 chunks, so 3 days. I watched it in three chunks.
Three chunks.
It was 3 consecutive days.
The most I ever did in a row was 4 episodes. So that was pretty,
There was a total of 13.
There's a total of 13.
Yeah.
The last episode, I was on episode 12 and I could like stay up and watch the last one, but I went to bed and watched it the next day so that I could like really like focus on the finale.
Yeah.
I really wanted that to be like an event, something that I was excited about seeing.
I completely agree. No,
Yeah.
I did it in 4, just a little bit less than 4, but I don't think I ever had a session where I only watched 1 episode at a time.
Oh no, yeah, it was always like
I
a
was
couple.
so ravenous.
Her
for the
trauma,
next
but you watched it all in a couple sessions, and her trauma weighs on you.
It
Oh
really-
yeah.
The psychological.
Oh my god, right?
Well, let's.
I mean, it's
let's give a
so
couple.
well done.
Kristen Ritter is so perfect in this role.
does a great
She's great.
Gets, and I've just known her mostly as a comedic actress. She did a sitcom called "Don't Trust the Bee" in Apartment 23.
Yeah.
Where it's this really kind of broad sitcom.
I know her from Veronica Mars. She was
Yes.
in Veronica
She was
Mars.
also
Yeah.
she was also in what's that show with the drugs and the
She was in like season 2 where she played Jesse Pinkman's
yeah.
girlfriend.
Breaking
on
Bad.
Breaking Bad.
right. That's right,
and
she was.
she was also like the snarky friend in She's Out of My League.
Yes.
The blonde
She's
girl's
kinda got-
snarky friend. She's
Yes.
got that. So I mean, months and months ago, you could listen to one of our episodes, and we talked about how is she a good choice for this
Yep.
role because she had only played that snarky girl, that pain in the ass,
Right.
that's always pissed off, never smiles. And we're like, could she play this role? I don't understand. But the way they took the character, where
Yeah.
she's like, she's traumatized. She's got some dark things in her past that she's done. Perfect. Kristen Ritter was perfect for that. And
Yes.
Yeah,
She
no,
really did.
it really, she found a very, the depth that she's able to kind of give and the pain that you see her go through and work through and how it manifests itself is very well done.
I mean, it's really it's at times really hard to watch because it's
totally.
13 episodes of rape, essentially.
Yes.
Ugh.
So
Yeah.
It's a
the drama.
So
the
if you're
trauma
looking for
over-
something cheery to watch, this is not it.
That's why, I mean, we'll talk about it, but that's why Kilgrave is one of the best and most chilling villains ever. His
he's-
depiction, what's his name? I'm blanking on his name.
David Tennant.
David
David
Tennant.
Tennant.
Yeah.
Which I should know.
He was so great.
He was so great.
The best
and
doctor.
so
The best doctor.
he was the best doctor, but in this, he's just unbelievably chilling as the villain in this because it's like, his power of control and what he's able to do and how he's able to psychologically torment her even after he's no longer able to actually control her is incredible. The writing was incredible. The pacing was incredible because it all built towards the final episodes, and it was just so well done in terms of that pacing and that never letting up on that trauma. She just never. It was really it's tough. There are stretches where it's like, oh my god, this is just constantly shitting on her and her stress. Yeah, it's really.
I mean, I've talked about it before, and it's such a simple idea that I learned back in college when I was taking writing courses. Like, whenever you tell a story, you've got the thing the story is about, and then you've got the other thing. This the story is about a superhero, a former superhero who creates a detective agency. Okay,
that's a person with powers.
A person with powers who works as a detective.
Right.
The other thing this story is about is dealing with the trauma of being a rape survivor. Which is incredible.
This show
they do that in a superhero genre. This show is part of the larger.
This show is
universe.
Is a film noir, dude. She's a PI. She gets a case that is unrelated to the case that she's already doing. The case, the first case that's unrelated, ultimately is connected to the case she's already doing. Mm-hmm. That's all film noir has that standard
stuff,
and has some kind of dark past where she's drinking and she's like, she lost faith in humanity, but she's still good. That's all film noir, dude.
Well, she's also lost faith in herself.
Yeah, because it's less about losing faith in humanity, although that's part of it because she's a PI and
she sees the worst in people all the time.
Yeah, it's not happy-go-lucky.
She's supposed to find the worst in every single person she meets, basically. Yeah. She's paid to find the worst in everyone, which is... I mean, what does that just do to you? They're repeatedly encountering people doing terrible stuff.
And the lawyer who gives her work is a terrible, amoral person.
Completely amoral person. Yeah, I mean, Carrie Ann Moss, all-time, sci-fi kind of pantheon because she was in the Matrix movies. Played Trinity. She plays this completely amoral attorney she's in every single episode, and she's Jessica's point of contact. She feeds Jessica work. She defends people Jessica, asks her to defend that are in legal trouble, and she really does things for completely her own
cheating on her wife. With her secretary.
With her secretary.
more or less
Jessica to dig up dirt on her doctor, Doctors Without Borders wife. Yeah.
Did they ever explain? I might have missed that. I was hoping for an explanation of why Jessica Jones and this lawyer are friends or connected to each other. They never really pointed that out, did they?
Yeah, they never say,
how they became connected
or how she became. Yeah.
Well, and that's something that is interesting about this series too. There's not a lot of backstory. You don't really understand why Jessica Jones has her powers. You never really
well, they explain it in dribs and drabs,
right?
And then you get. I mean, when they start to we have some files. This person has some files that might be connected to what's going on, and then you get the flashback of the accident. And you get the flashback of the moment where it looks like chemicals and involves some kind of chemicals, and there's stuff that is splashes onto her and shit like that. Mm-hmm. But you don't get the full this is the
there's no origin.
This is the reason why she's like this,
which is so much better than the first 2 episodes explaining all of that.
She just has the powers. She just has the
powers, and they're not as. She doesn't even show her powers until the second or third episode.
Well, I mean, she stops the car with her bare hands in the first episode. She holds that car.
She has to serve that douchebag.
That's the first episode where she finds that guy.
That's toward the end of the episode. Right?
Yeah, right.
No, you don't really, she throws a guy through a window. Basically, she gets in kind of a fist fight in her office, and she throws a guy through the window. But you don't really. It's not like she throws him 20 feet, and he.
No, I mean
it's not like it's a Captain America
momentum.
Movie. Yeah, exactly.
They don't they don't make a thing of it, and then you get snippets of it, and then you really get snippets of it when she comes to the aid of Luke Cage.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And
first of all, and I mean, we've already raved about 2 of the people in this season. This show. Let's talk about Luke Cage.
Casting was perfect.
So this is going to be the first time this happens, but I'm willing to admit it. Luke Cage, he gets the Not Ugly award for this episode.
I totally agree.
He is a
100%, dude.
Beautiful man.
Beautiful.
beautiful black man.
That's 100% correct. He gets the
perfect,
beautiful, not ugly,
not ugly award.
Yeah. Let's give. Okay, the actor's name is Mike Colter.
He's so great.
He's
perfect.
Great.
Perfect.
Yes.
And I mean, I think among the three of us, Luke Cage has kind of been a favorite comic book character of ours for years.
Power Man and Iron Fist.
Heroes for Hire.
I had tons of those as a kid.
Well, I remember inheriting Power Man and Iron Fist comics from you, Chris.
Yes.
That was one of the first comics I remember reading.
I read that all the time.
And I remember him having like an afro with like a bandana tied around his head.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
That was headband and metal like wristbands and shit.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, so great.
Really, really terrible. But so good. And that duo, those comics were great. Because he was a badass. He was a badass, unbreakable skin, super strong. And their team of his team with Iron Fist was so fun. Those comics were great.
So Luke Cage comes into the story. Yeah. He and Jessica have I wouldn't call it romance. They have
their relationship is complicated.
It's a complicated relationship.
There's a lot of banging going on.
There's a lot of banging.
Yeah, there's some extreme.
There's some extreme no nudity.
Superpowered.
We can't hurt each other. Banging happening.
Go after it. Yeah.
Exactly. They let themselves enjoy the moment fully.
Yes. And then it devolves into this yet another great piece of the storytelling. Is that they are also connected, and you don't know why she is following him and why she has fallen for him. And then when you learn, it's like, oh my God, this is all about guilt.
Yep.
Yeah.
And her own,
she doesn't even know. She doesn't even know. Yeah.
Holy shit.
Yeah, man. Every character goes to another level in terms of your interaction with them and what they mean to the story and how you feel. And I mean, I said this to you, Christopher, and I think I'll stand by it. I don't really like Jessica as a person.
Right.
Like, I don't want to be her friend.
She's unpleasant.
She is an unpleasant
She's very unpleasant. Right.
Yeah, and not even in she's trying to keep people at a distance, so she's a little bit abrasive and everything else. She is generally unpleasant.
Yes.
She's an unfriendly, unlikable person.
Unlikable protagonist. And that's the genius of the show.
Exactly.
Is that she is completely unlikable, but you're like, she's so compelling to watch.
Exactly.
Well, I mean, she's unlikable, but she has redeeming qualities.
Right.
She
she's
wants
not a bad
right. She wants to do good. She tried before. She has good people around her who care about her. She chooses good things. She's trying to save the girl that's being, tried for a crime she sort of didn't commit.
Right. The better term might be she is abrasive.
Right. She's very abrasive.
So she is unlikable because she is striving against. She is trying to do the right thing.
Yes, she is trying to do the right thing.
She's trying to save the girl. She's trying to defeat the bad guy.
Right.
But she's abrasive as hell.
She is not. She is not the example that stands out in front of a team of.
She's not Captain America. No,
she's not Captain America.
She's the opposite.
You do not want to follow her. Yes, you do not want to follow her.
She's not. She's like worse Iron Man. Snarky, angry, drinks a lot.
Right,
Yeah. Kind of.
But Iron Man has a certain amount of charm. Really,
He's
Jessica
charm.
doesn't even try to be charming.
Charming.
She doesn't try to ingratiate herself with anyone.
She grudgingly helps her neighbors. I mean, it's always a eye roll, and nobody else is going to do this, so I have to help.
Yeah, carrying the drug addict friend
from a drug overdose. Then I'll help you.
Right, exactly.
Right.
But it's not like she's I'm going to bring you a loaf of bread because you're hungry.
Well, and a lot of it is as she learns as she's moving through the process. A lot of it is all connected to Kilgrave, and she sees Kilgrave is manipulating everything around her in order to drive her to him, right?
Yes.
And then it's a fascinating example or examination, not example, but it's a really deep sort of examination of the idea of choice, the fixation the fixation of his ultimately toward the end of the season, where he is very fixated with her making the conscious decision. And because he cannot control her, and he has never experienced, since he got his powers, he's never experienced, and the enthusiasm he has for those moments of genuine someone choosing, and he doesn't have it. Everybody around him always does everything he wants them to do, right?
Yeah, exactly.
And so it's just, it's a pretty deep philosophical point about the nature of his power and what he was seeking for, and then ultimately how she turns that and uses that against him at the very end. I just found that to be fantastic. That how she tricked him into believing, and because it tapped into everything that he wanted in life or out of life. Somebody to either, but then he was misguided, or he was deceived by his own longing for her and thinks that, okay, my power works now on you because I've enhanced it in such a way. And she uses all of that against him in such a profound way. I found that to be fantastic in the end.
Yeah. I agree.
Oh yeah. The end to this is I mean, it's pretty bleak, but it's very fitting and works, and
yeah, so dark. That
so dark.
The last half hour is so dark. And
Yeah,
I'm freaking out at that moment on the docks when he takes, because my other favorite character is Jessica's best friend, right? She's fantastic.
Oh yeah, she's great.
So vulnerable.
Rachel Taylor, who plays Patsy,
who is
so vulnerable.
Yep.
Yeah, and
Holy crap!
she's Hellcat in the comics also.
She is.
And I don't they're talking about doing a Hellcat series also, but like she has no powers, so I don't know how they will fit that in.
She's a fighter. She's
a fighter.
Got skills.
Well, in the comics, she has some. She's like special abilities, but I don't know. There's a couple unresolved questions from this series, like what else is on the thumb drive? What happened to the cop? The military guy cop who took all the drugs, went crazy, and tried to kill Jessica in her apartment.
He becomes like a Punisher.
He's Nuke.
Character.
He's Nuke in the comics.
Exactly. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. He's more of a bad guy than Punisher.
He's a bad guy who's been manipulated by the government or some kind some Black
Yet
Ops.
another attempt at a Captain America
Soldier
serum. Yeah.
And
that goes bad.
And so, like, what happens with him? What happened with that organization? Are we going to see them again? What else? Why was Luke Cage's wife digging up that stuff? Why did she know about that? You never get an answer. Right. You never get an answer for that. You never.
I mean, that's because Cage talks about he got his unbreakable skin through an experiment, and it was the same. I think they're all connected.
Right.
I think they are too.
He was being experimented on, and the serum that was used on him manifested itself in a different way than it manifested itself in the Nuke guy and others. And she clearly was somehow connected with that experimentation because she had the information, right?
Yeah.
And then sorry, go ahead, Andrew.
No, I was just going to say that the mystery with all these characters deepens throughout the season, and it really only resolves kind of Jessica's, the arc that it creates in the first episode about how Jessica is finally going to free herself of Kilgrave is really all that this season sets out to do, and it does that, and it leaves kind of all this meat for more seasons.
Yeah, it's great.
In terms of but you don't feel like it's cheap. You don't feel like, I wish they gave me more. I wish they gave me this. I wish they gave me that. Why didn't this mystery resolve? I was so unsatisfied. How the season wraps up and the arc that is completed by the end of the season is totally satisfying. It's great storytelling when you feel like you can create this world, you can create these characters and how they interact, and you really only resolve probably 50 to 75% of the questions that you propose throughout the course of the season, and the viewer feels totally fine with that. They're like, you know what? I have gone on a ride, and I have experienced these things, and I have come to really like these characters. And
Right.
Jessica's story in the first season is wrapped up, but there's whole other questions and mysteries that need to be figured out.
Right. You finish it and you're wanting more, and that's exactly how they should do it.
Oh, and they're going to give him another season. I mean, we haven't even got. I mean, we can just touch on the response to this series has been almost universally positive, if not almost over the top, like effusive about how much people like this season.
Well,
and how much they like
the nurse, the night nurse crossover.
The larger cinematic Marvel Cinematic Universe. They
really great. She's a great character, and she's got tons more personality and tons more opportunity to shine in this series than she did in Daredevil, which really made me happy. Her scenes in this show are so much better, in my opinion.
Well,
than in Daredevil.
But you understand the depth of what she has experienced and what kind of, who she is because you met her in Daredevil and because you know what she went through in Daredevil and you understand her and the affection you feel for her in every scene is
you can definitely watch it without having watched Daredevil, or you can appreciate it. But you get a hell of a lot more, in my view, you get a hell of a lot more out of her character having watched Daredevil because of exactly what you said. You have all that backstory, and you understand how she's processing all of it.
Here's a question for you guys that somebody asked me. Do you like this series better or worse than Daredevil?
Whoa.
Yeah.
I think they have just different strengths. I mean, they're both in that film noir kind of vein in terms of a dark story set in the street, in an urban setting. I rewatched a few episodes of season 1 of Daredevil after I finished Jessica Jones. Daredevil's almost like a kung fu series,
right?
The fist fighting and kind of the action in Daredevil is great. So, and really, there's very little of that in Jessica Jones. She's not a martial artist. She's not a fighter. I mean, she's a person. When she hits you, you get knocked out.
Yeah,
she doesn't have fight scenes. He has one fight scene between her and Luke Cage at the end of episode 12 that goes on for a few minutes.
Yeah, and then the fight scene with the cop guy who's all on drugs.
Exactly,
but that's about it. I mean, that's
it for in terms of like long action sequences. I mean, there's a couple other shorter ones, but there's not. I mean, Daredevil's just maybe a different kind of show. And it tells a different kind of story.
I have to say I like Jessica Jones more.
Okay. Really? Okay.
Yep. Because I appreciated much more the storytelling and the character arc and the issues that they were dealing with were all a lot more profound, interesting to me than the kid with a hard life and a father with poor judgment and questionable friends, and a disability, quote unquote. I found Jessica Jones a lot more of a compelling character, a lot more interesting in terms of her arc and what she was dealing with. I thought it was a better show.
Wow.
There are episodes of Daredevil that are like, just filler.
It does lull.
Yeah, and there isn't any episode of Jessica Jones that I wasn't.
I think it could have been 2 episodes shorter, honestly. Like, I think they could have gotten to the point. I think I got a little tired of the cat and mouse game towards the end there.
Yeah.
They could have moved things along a little fast. I don't know.
It could have been. It maybe could have been 12 instead of 13.
I like Jessica Jones more.
Mm-hmm. Okay, all right, that's good. No, like
I mean,
it's
totally
a really
legit.
good show. I think they're both really good, and it's tough to tell. I really like like Andrew said, I really like the action in Daredevil a lot. The character of Jessica Jones is a lot more interesting, and this is like obviously a darker show. Daredevil's not dealing with whether he should do it or not. He's dealing with like.
He's dealing with the consequences of what he wants to do.
Right, exactly.
He can't stop
Fisk
himself.
is more interesting.
Fisk is more interesting.
Than Daredevil.
The
Right.
reality is Vincent D'Onofrio made that.
He's so good.
But made Fisk
yeah.
into something so compelling that it overshadowed Charlie Cox.
But Kilgrave-
Charlie Cox does a great job.
Kilgrave is
as
so
Matt
good,
Murdock.
dude. Like,
great.
Oh, he's great. He might be the best villain in the Marvel Cinematic Universe.
Dude, he was so
great.
evil and perfect.
Yep.
Okay, and I will say this: there was a couple of scenes, and I don't know, like sometimes I have a problem with gore. Like it's not like when it's obviously movie gore, I have a problem with it. But this show was so real that when the girl is told to like cut Carrie Ann Moss like 1,000 times,
God, yeah.
oh
Yes.
my dude, I had to like look away.
Yeah.
Because
Oh, no,
it was
it's
really
very
hard.
scary.
Because
it's
it was
scary
so-
hard.
It was so violent. And
Yep.
then there was another one.
She cannot.
Well,
stop herself.
realistically violent. I mean, it wasn't
Yeah.
cartoony at all. It was, oh my God, she's cutting her.
Like just little
Kilgrave
superficial
told
cuts
her
all
to
over.
Kill her with 1,000 cuts, and she's going to do it.
Yeah, yeah.
And
Yeah.
then the scene where like Kilgrave's mother, big spoiler, but he tells her to stab herself with the scissors.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Fuck, dude.
Yeah.
yeah.
Like, and
It's stressful, and hard to watch. For
and
sure.
when the
And that goes back to the deep-seated, like, oh my God, you're not in control of your
Exactly. No, that's why it's so hard
Yeah.
to watch. Because
everybody's
so...
watching that and they're traumatized because, like, oh my God, they did such a good job of imagining or presenting for the viewer being totally out of control.
Yes.
Like you're not able to control your actions, and then they did such a good job.
You're
at
not
that.
able to resist.
Exactly.
That's the juxtaposition that Jessica is super powered.
Yeah.
She has super strength. She
No
can
res-
kill
no
you with
resist.
one punch.
Yep.
And she cannot
knowing
resist
and
him.
knowing that you can't, and being
Totally
conscious,
powerless. Totally
being conscious
powerless.
of that lack of a choice. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
pretty.
and they played up her trauma like perfectly. Like she's totally trauma. Like and there's like a group that meets up that's Kilgrave survivors.
Right,
to deal with
the
their
therapy group.
That's
yeah.
real. Like people
Yeah.
would do that because
Sure they would.
because they need to talk about what it feels like to be
Yeah,
out of
the
control.
trauma, any kind of a trauma,
Right.
rape survivors or
Totally.
war crimes or whatever.
God, it's so
yeah.
smart. The writing is so fantastic
Yep.
that they
Yeah, no,
thought
we got to
about.
give a shout. The showrunner, Melissa Rosenberg is her name.
Fantastic.
We got to shout out to
Yep,
her. She
yep.
does an amazing job
Yep,
writing
fantastic.
and creating the entire series.
Yeah.
It's fantastic how she pulls it all off. So, yeah. We've how long have we been going on about this, Patrick?
Good, like a good, 30 minutes. Yeah. So
Okay,
we should probably wrap it up.
Yeah. Do we have any
Last thoughts.
We had last thoughts on Jessica Jones. I cannot wait for Jessica Jones season 2, whenever that's going to happen. But Luke Cage should be, in the pipeline as well. They introduced the character of Luke Cage.
Well, is he going to be in the Iron Fist show?
No, he is going to have his own show.
Oh, good.
Really?
Yeah, dude, you don't know the concept of all of this? The
I
concept-
thought he was going to be in Iron Fist show.
Oh no! Here's the idea with the Marvel Cinematic Universe and the shows they are producing for Netflix is they did Daredevil. They're introducing Daredevil, Jessica Jones. Luke Cage is going to have his own
They're
series,
going to do the Defenders.
and then
they're doing.
Iron Fist is going to have his own
Yeah, okay.
series,
Okay.
and then they're going to have like a mini series.
Well,
that
I'm
wraps
very
up all-
psyched about this whole world that they're creating in Hell's Kitchen in New York because it's
I agree.
it's terrific. Yeah,
It is.
If they're all even close to being as good as Jessica Jones, they're kick ass. So
They really are.
really
Yeah.
good, really good.
So I can't wait for Luke Cage whenever that's going to happen. We should get Daredevil season 2, I think, before Luke Cage comes out. But
Great.
because Daredevil season 2 is, I think, pretty close to
Well,
being done.
and then Netflix talked about how this year they had 16 series, and they're going to double that next year. So they're going to have 31.
Sorry.
Bless you. We're going to have 31
original
Netflix
series.
original series next year.
Wow.
Yeah, so they're going to have a lot of stuff working. Last thoughts, Christopher, on Jessica Jones?
Last thoughts. If you haven't watched it, well, obviously, if you've listened
you ruined
to the end,
it. Sorry.
Sorry, but
honestly, we touched on about 5% of what the show actually does.
I know. I feel like you could still watch it and not be too
certainly,
spoiled.
my reactions are it's one of the best things I've seen in the last few years. It's a great show.
I don't think that's hyperbole.
Yep.
I think you're right on
what
that.
I think is interesting about like Netflix original series is it's sort of like unrated. You know, like what would this be? I mean, obviously this couldn't be on like NBC, but like it could be on like WGN or something. There's no nudity. The violence is pretty rough, but it's not.
There's
like
no nudity.
Horrible.
It would have to be on like. It's like a Walking Dead level gore.
Right. Walking Dead has
the F word,
similar.
and you don't see any nudity.
Do they swear? Do they say the F word? I don't even remember.
They don't say the F word. They say shit a lot.
They say shit a lot. Okay.
They make sexual references, but they don't. Yeah, so that's kind of where
It's interesting
that television council.
I mean, they could have gone. I mean, it's Marvel, so they probably Marvel and Disney, so they probably didn't want to go fully like adult with it, where they could have done Jessica Jones naked, or actual sex scene, or like ramped up the gore even more. But it's kind of interesting that it's like this in between where it's sort of gory. A little bit of swearing, but
adult.
not. Yeah, it's adult, but not
adult.
Right, it is very adult, but it's not like completely
not an R,
sexed up R, or
it's not.
completely like she rips a dude's head off. I guess Kingpin does slam a dude's head in a
He decapitates a guy with a car door.
Yeah.
He legitimately does.
That was the most violent thing in that series for sure.
Oh my gosh, crazy. Yep.
So, well, I mean, thanks for listening. This is just like a one-shot episode on Jessica Jones. We will return to our normal podcasting for next episode. You should follow us on Twitter. Brothers_geek at twitter.com. You should visit the website, brothersgeek.com. You should write us some emails about what you thought about Jessica Jones at brothersgeekpodcast@gmail.com. Facebook page. Go and follow us on facebook.com/brothersgeekpodcast. Awesome. Thanks for listening.
See ya.
Come here, boy, come here. Every day is the same old roundup. Every day, same old way out west. No more cattle I'll be counting. No more coming round the mountain, getting high, yo, silver off my chest. You can have your hills and valleys and your home out on the range. But here's one lonesome cowboy who's pining for a change. Take me back to the wide open places where a guy gets as high as a kite. Yes. On those small, narrow spaces in the wide open places that are open all night. My. Tony, fix me another one.